Well, we're studying solving systems of equations, and we've talked about augmented matrix, and now we're beginning to move towards augmented matrix in row echelon form. And here we're asked to identify an augmented matrix in row echelon form. And so we have three examples of this, and we're trying to determine, are these in row echelon form? And if it's in row echelon form, our leading term in the first row would be 1. And then we would see the leading term in the second row move to the right one position. And then if in each successive rows, we would see zeros to the left of the leading 1. Well, let's just go about seeing if we can recognize these. Pick a color. There you go. All right, in 3A here, I'm looking at row 1 is 1, -6, 2, and then -1, and then we got a row of nothing but zeros in row 2, and in row 3 is 0, 1, 3. And this is it is not in row echelon form. Now, what would make that in row echelon form, though, is if we swapped row 3 and row 2 and had those zeros, because the zero, if we have a row that is all zeros, it should be at the bottom of the matrix. Now, in 3B here, well, yes, this is in row echelon form. If I look at this, there's my leading ones. I've got 1 in the row 1, column 1 position. I've got a leading 1 in row 2 in the column 2 position. And in the third row, I would have the leading 1, in the third row. And this would indicate that we've got 3 equations with 3 variables, and this has been reduced to, or simplified to, row echelon form. So this is a yes. All right, and then here in 3C, so I've got 4 rows, I've got 4 columns, so this would be a system of equations with 4 equations and 4 variables. But as I look at this, this is not in row echelon form, because right here I've got a leading 1, but then over here to the left of that, in the second row to the left of that, I have a leading 1. And so this would not be in row echelon form. Now we're getting ready to, and we talked about, in this row echelon form, we talked about swaps and scale and pivot, as we may be simplifying each equation or pairs of equations to get this in row echelon form. And we're going to be, in a moment or two, getting some practice doing that. But in this example, we're just trying to identify augmented matrix in row echelon form.